Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fortnightly Frontier, the bi-weekly Star Citizen podcast where we talk about stuff and things. I am your host, Darjanator, and over there is that guy in the red hat, Myre.
And it's golden coffee.
Yeah. Welcome.
I almost spelled out on myself. You said space and stuff. I thought you were gonna go into like some kind of like serious intro, and I was like, oh god. And I almost
No.
sent you my med bills, dude. Anyway.
No.
Right. So welcome to the podcast.
Right. And
We
also,
haven't
I
done
am
one of
not
these
a
for a while, have we?
McDonald's. You can't sue me if you spill your coffee on your lap.
I could try. You know what we didn't do though?
I know what we didn't do, but we're gonna continue.
Okay.
We're just gonna keep going, because that's
right.
how we run things around here.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I did it. You missed it. You missed out.
I did. Damn it. Why do you have to treat me that way?
All right. So, what is our topic for this?
What is our topic for today's podcast? How about? Well, we know what. Why am I doing this? I'm just pretending to. How about we talk about? No, we decided we were going to talk about Planetside stuff. Stuff to do on the surface of planets and moons and asteroids and other such things as these.
Right, yeah, because 3.0 is coming out very soon. Very soon. Very soon.
It's not just soon TM, it's very, very soon TM.
Yes, weeks, not more weeks. Very soon though. I mean, like, I feel like a broken record now. It's been a couple months now since we said it's coming out soon. But with Gamescom looming ever so close, I feel like it's right around the corner, really.
It is. I have a feeling that we'll get ATV when I'm out of the country because, just to get this out of the way, we will not be doing a podcast in 2 weeks, unfortunately, because I will be out of the country. I will actually be in Germany. But I will be far, far away from any sort of computerized equipment to allow me to record and podcast with. But yes, I have a feeling that when I'm, gallivanting through Germany is when we'll be seeing a release of some sort. If not live, it will be Evocati or PTU at least.
Hopefully it'll be sooner than that, really. I mean, hopefully. I hope. Because on the schedule report, I think, when was it? I think it was the 27th. That was the latest date that they'd pushed most things, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so hopefully by the 27th, we will see it. I mean, like, I don't think the Evocati test flight needs all those things to be quite so ready, but I guess,
no.
Yeah, I guess.
But I suppose there are some crucial blockers.
Yeah.
Because right now, if I look at the schedule report, it says it's from the 20th to 3rd that the Evocati is going to start.
20th of this month to the 3rd is the window.
So we're already 3 days into that.
Okay.
And the end of the window ends on the 3rd. That is the latest update, which was updated when on the 21st, so 2 days ago.
Right. Okay. So very soon then, hopefully
soon, yes.
The 3.0 patch will be in the hands of at least the Evocati, which means that, hopefully they don't leak stuff, but at least we'll know that we're even closer to a public PTU after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hopefully there will be at least a public PTU at Gamescom, and it looks like there will be a rushed live release at the Gamescom event.
It would be interesting if it'd be available on the show floor of Gamescom for the people who were there, to be honest. I mean, like, at the very least, I mean, we've been waiting for it for so long now. And, with 3.0, the thinking, the Delta Patcher isn't meant to be a 3.0 feature, but they kind of want to have that as part of the package. Once that comes with it, then things like hot fixes and all that kind of stuff will also fit in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
right now we have these
few minutes to patch instead of waiting hours for 12 gigabytes to download just because they changed one piece of code in this pack and another piece of code in that pack, and you have to download the entire thing.
Yeah, because right now we have all these like little tiny bugs and stuff that are around the place that have been plaguing us for the past couple months. And even if they have they fixed them, and with all confidence they probably have most of them. I mean, like if you look at the issue council, as a player of the alpha, you wouldn't be able to experience the fix and then to find the bugs that have been made by the fix until the next big patch because of how expensive it is to pump out all this data.
Yeah. Which is why we've been stuck on 2.6.3 for so long.
But once the Delta patcher comes in and they're able to incrementally give us like patches, fixes and stuff, like with kilobytes or megabytes instead of 30 or so gigabytes per client, then I feel like at least as an end user, we will be seeing more active development, at least for little things like fixes, as not really content per se.
Yeah, fewer content patches. Well, I think the content patches will still be spread out as far as they have been so far, but there will be a lot more smaller patches to fix the bugs, and they won't have to wait for those big patches to fix.
Yeah, I personally don't think that the content patches, once the Delta patch is in, will be as chunky, though, because what happens is that things get delayed, and so, as we always say to people, CIG isn't just one studio, it isn't just one dev, it's a whole bunch of people. So if
approaching 500 at this point,
exactly. So if if a patch is delayed because of one blocker, that doesn't mean that everybody else is sitting on their laurels waiting for that one person to get their work done. So I guess I don't think it's a negative thing, but it just means that we'll be getting smaller content patches along the way instead of waiting for huge bursts with
right. So when a ship is ready, they could just push it instead of waiting for 3.1 to release 4 ships at a time, and just have them wait for whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, CIG, they like to pump out these ships. What was it, when the Vanguard got released? What was it, just an ATV? It's oh, by the way, yeah, so hopefully when the Delta patch is out, they'll be able to do that more often instead of waiting. I mean, we know that the Dragonfly is already, even though there's nowhere to drive them. We know that the Nox is pretty much ready, even though there's nowhere to drive it. We know that, what else? The Prospector is pretty much done. The Aurora,
although they finished it, but then they put it back in development just because of the compressible landing gear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so all those things would have probably been put in, maybe not the ground vehicles because that's pretty intrinsic to the moons and stuff, but everything else would probably have been in earlier in some state or another, if only just a hangar state, just so you can see them. But because of the price and of pumping out data, we have these massive patches instead. But
how much do you think is the Aurora in its entirety? Would you think it's 20 megabytes? Something like that, or 100 megabytes?
Honestly, I don't know, because I don't know what to compare it to. I've never looked at these kind of things before. I mean, I think in For Honor, and this is a completely random game to compare it to, when they introduced 2 new characters, there was a 12 gigabyte patch or something. So I don't know, it could be anything really, depending on how
but that's probably just so much to do with all the underpinnings as well that they had to. Yeah, or they have the same problem the Star Citizen has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. A lot of it's to do with...
but this Delta patcher thing is actually used by very few games when it comes to the grand scheme of things, because, for instance, Doom just released a patch a while ago. 35 gigabytes.
35 gigabytes.
Yeah. I was gonna stream it, and then updates queued. Update. Downloading 35 gigabytes. This is not gonna end until tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, if so my hope. Have you ever do you have the Blizzard launcher?
I do.
Yes.
I think although I haven't run it since it was still called Battle.net, and I'll always call it Battle.net.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think if you hit Windows X and search for it and type Battle.net, it'll give you the Blizzard launcher. I think in there somewhere it's still called it internally. But yeah, I think the Battle.net launcher is kind of the promised land when it comes to patching. You can play World of Warcraft in its like how many thousands of gigabytes, like how many tens of gigabytes once 20% of it's done, because they stream in like elements to you as well.
Guild Wars had the same thing. You could start playing as soon as the 700 megabytes in. You could already start playing, and it had the entire engine, it had the characters, and it had the starting area. And then when you were finished in the starting area and wanted to go out, you would get a very, very long loading screen because it had to download everything.
Yeah, I know that some games have tried that with more and less success. I know that when Mortal Kombat 9 got released, basically, you could get into the game without really downloading anything, but you then had to then download the rest of the content from within the game. So you could like go into training mode and use the characters, but it got so much backlash because they were like, why do I have to download the game after downloading the game? When literally they didn't actually download the game. But I don't think we'll see that problem. But I've seen games do it wrongly. I've seen games do it weird.
Yeah, you just have to announce for something like the Battle.net launcher has a very obvious, very large progress bar, and then it has like a cutoff point, and it says very clearly, you will be able to start playing once the download reaches here. However, the game will not be downloaded in its entirety, so you have to wait. It does have a lot of disclaimers, and Blizzard did do it right, yes.
Yes, yeah. So hopefully, I mean, like, this is a next-gen game, or at least it will be when it's done. Hopefully it will have next-gen patching. Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
like, do you think it's possible for you to even not have to stop playing for the game to patch?
Not have to start playing?
Stop playing.
Well, that's what World of Warcraft does.
So you're in-game, and the game patches in the background.
Exactly.
It
does it really well. Like I said, so with the World of Warcraft patcher, and this discussion is kind of turned into a talk about patching instead of planets. But hey,
we'll
this
get
is what
to
we
the
do.
proper topic.
You know, this is a podcast of many tangents. But like with the Blizzard launcher, like if you can imagine this being a launcher, like there is I think it's either red or orange, like up to maybe like 5 to 10%, and in that time nothing is playable. Then from like maybe 20 to like 40%, it's orange, and then 70 is green, and then there's 100. And so within orange, the game is playable, but you know the textures won't be great, and it says that. And then when it's green at 70%, it's optimal, but it's still not going to be completely downloaded. And when a patch comes out, you can still play, and it'll just do the rest in the back, and then I think maybe you might have to relog. I don't even know how that works, but yeah.
Maybe CIG should hire a few Blizzard employees.
Are you joking? FYI to anybody out of the know, CIG has a bunch of Blizzard employees.
Yeah,
ex-Blizzard employees.
I know. Do they have the right ones? I mean, at least for the topic at hand that we're talking about right
now. Honestly, I don't know. I've been a few, but I'm not too sure about that. Yeah.
And all those patches are gonna give us 3.0, which will let us finally land on planets. And what a painful segue to our actual topic of the day.
Not forced at all.
No.
So, planets. More specifically, moons and moon landings in Star Citizen 3.0. So when the game comes out, or when the patch comes out, should we say, it's gonna open up not only like way stations and other places to go to, like Port Olisar and other truck stops, but also landable planets like Delamar. Is it Delamar or Daymar? I think they're two.
I keep forgetting which one is which. I think Delamar is the moon, and Daymar is the asteroid from Nyx on which Levski, the landing zone, is based.
Right. But we know there's Yela, there is Selin, and then there is Amar.
Yes.
Amar.
That one, yeah.
Is that the Mars-like planet? Because like it's got Mar in the name, right?
I think. Well, yellow's blue. That's all I know.
Yellow's the blue icy one. Selin is gray.
Yeah, Solan's gray, and Daymar is like the okra browny one. Yeah.
So Mars at
The
day.
one, the one they used for the Reclaimer shoot,
Yeah.
Reclaimer to planet, Reclaimer to space, pull out in the ATV like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So so we have those 3 moons, and they've talked about a lot of things that we'll be able to do in it. This patch is basically going to bring the game from being not just a test bed of different features and modules, but I think for the first time ever in this game, we'll be able to actually see what it wants to end up being. Because with this patch, we're getting not only landing on the moons, but also there's going to be the first iteration of the trading with the new panels and stuff that they showed us in the last ATV.
kiosks.
Kiosks, panels. They anyway, yeah. So they've shown us that.
Yeah, and I was so confused when I mentioned kiosk, because to me a kiosk still means like a small booth that a person's in, and you have like a little window for interaction, and you go to it and say, "Give me that gum, and give me that porn mag, and don't tell my mom I was here," and stuff like that. That sort of kiosks thing, but it's gonna basically just be a computer console in a shop. So,
But yeah, I mean, I think the kiosk system, when we saw it, I mean, many people just kind of saw it and thought, oh, this is what we're going to be using for buying and selling. But it's not just buying and selling items. It's also in how the insurance system is going to work. It's also how the new ship deck system is going to work. It's all incorporated in different aspects
and
of
repair.
it. And
as
repair.
well. Because you have buy, sell, repair tabs on most of them, at least, if you are in like Grimhex that has the facilities to repair. I don't think like if you go to somebody's little outpost on Yella that sells tomatoes, then you'll be able to repair your ship.
Right.
Just what I'm thinking.
So in terms of the moons, because I guess we could do long ass podcasts on any one of these features, and we have done for quite a few. So the moon specifically, gameplay wise, what are they? What with the moons? What are we getting gameplay wise? Can you explain? Freedom. How?
Yeah. Well, I think it's also going to be it gives you a lot more locations to go and be alone, but also have things to do. I mean, you could right now in game you could point your ship in a direction and drop out of quantum travel in the middle of space. But that's all you actually do get. That's all you can do, look at space. But now you'll be able to go to a location and get completely lost and be by yourself and still have things to do. Like you could drive your Nox or your Tumbril Cyclone, probably not in 3.0, but eventually.
Yeah.
And you just go there with just a friend or two and have a race. Because why not? Or find an outpost and have a firefight. Maybe just like a mock firefight. Who can take it and who can protect it? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because locations like that were very scarce in below 3.0.
So they've talked about a procedural way in which missions work. The way that they've actually mentioned how missions work, part of it you may already you may be used to, the typical Elite Dangerous style of like you get a mission to go somewhere, you go and do it. However, an interesting thing for me was that they're unified and linked between players, as in like a place or like a truck stop or NPC from that truck stop can say, hey, I need you to go to Daymar or Delamar or Marmar. I need you to go to.
The Marmite?
I need you to go to Yella and collect this thing. Now, you as a player have now gone to Yella to go and collect this item. But unlike any other game out there at the moment, I mean, like, to compare it, in World of Warcraft, you might get a mission to collect somebody's head. 10 other people can get that same mission to collect somebody's head. You can kill that NPC, get his head. He respawns, somebody else then kills the NPC, gets his head. In Star Citizen, from 3.0 onwards, if you were to have a mission to, say, get somebody's head, and you kill that NPC, anybody else who got that mission at the same time would also have that same specific head. Exactly. Yeah. So you would have it, they would have to get it from you. Even if you got the mission at the same time, even if there was some time discrepancy, if that was the NPC marked, who you had to get their head from, you would have to fight for it. And that's something that I don't think...
because after you kill the NPC, he dead.
Yeah.
Like, he's so dead.
Yeah, so dead. How dead? And I guess that's to do with subsumption as well. I mean, like, to segue onto a different system that I don't think we're getting in 3.0. But subsumption is like is a system in which NPCs have their own lives, and it's much more than that. But to me, they have their own lives. They go about their own business. They have their own IDs and names, and they can live for months without dying. And then, like, once they die, they're gone forever. If they have a quest attached to them, and you have to go either kill them or talk to them, somebody else can kill them and ruin that quest, and you have to go and do something else. So yeah. How does that link to the moons again? I guess
because the moons will be part of those locations. Like possibly like considering the moons are so large and these outposts can be so tiny, like you would actually have to rely on an NPC to give you the exact location if you actually want to find one. Because just landing and going in a direction, like, or even the most optimal search pattern, which is like a spiral thing, would be very, very time consuming and possibly not yield any workable results.
Yeah. But man, we keep talking about planets and then moving away, or at least I do, and I apologize. I'm sorry. So one topic that I guess about planets, Planetside activities anyway, is the inclusion of the Tumbril Cyclone buggy. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts with the Tumbril Cyclone buggy? Explain what it is first, I guess, and then like.
What my thoughts are my thoughts can be properly expressed through my PayPal account, which now has a €44 larger hole in it than it did before. Yes, I bought it because it looks fucking badass. I mean, I love the Ursa, but rover. It's not badass.
Like,
it's very nice looking. It's very utilitarian. It has nice lines, and it even has a gun on the roof. But badass is not a word I would use to describe it. The Tumbril, the Cyclone is.
It's very Batmobile-esque, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah, I really do like it.
It's got those aggressive lines, aggressive wheels, and that image where they say like it analyzes the terrain and adjusts the wheels for the perfect use for it, and it's got these little slats that just go like this and just dig into the dirt.
It's a really nice looking ship. So I actually thought that they were moving away from the old ways that they used to go ahead and make ships. Like with the Aurora, for instance, there are so many versions of the Aurora. You have the MS, the MR, you have the ES, you have the CL, you have the LN, and not many other ships in the game right now have that much variation to them, but now they've kind of brought that kind of mentality back with Tumbril, and so I guess how many again are there? 6 or 7?
5.
5. Well,
5.
Okay, 5 less. So there are 5 variants. There is the RC variant, so like for racing.
There's the normal one.
Yes, normal first. So there's the normal one, and I think it has a trunk or a boot for like
for cargo.
I saw the gray box thing that you linked me, and it looked like it could fit maybe 4 of those cargo cubes in it.
Possibly, yeah. Then we have the RC, which is not radio control; it's race car.
Yeah, so yeah, it's RC but not radio controlled, but it's a race car variant. And they showed just how easy it is to make these racetracks. I'm sure there's going to be at least like 1 or 2 racetracks in 3.0. I mean, just sitting there waiting for us to do something.
I don't want roads, though. I want it to be waypoint-based, but off-road, like on the roughest terrain possible. Like you have to find your own way there. I want racetracks to be as large as the horizon. Like, okay, so you're in a valley at the starting point, and the first waypoint is way the fuck over there, like 5 miles over there.
Yeah.
And how do you get there? Do you climb over the hill, or do you go around it? Do you traverse over the ice, or or what do you do? No, I want those kind of rough and tumble racetracks.
Yeah, I think for now it's cool just to have a small makeshift racetrack where you can like back up, with another ship and see the entirety of the track and be able to commentate. Like those top-down RC games, but you'd be able to see each individual car and make sure people don't cheat and cut corners. I think for now it'd be cool to have that, because that way you don't need checkpoint technology and stuff. And I honestly don't know how they're going to make those Murray Cup checkpoints work in the universe at large without instances or that kind of thing. But for now, at least, I think it'll be cool to have just that, and then expand later when we have the ability to make sure that everybody is, following the same rules. 3, 2, 1, go, false stops, false starts, that kind of thing. But I don't think that that's within the scope of things promised. But we have. But
I actually think that just plopping down checkpoints at a random location would be a lot easier to do than
Very true.
You're describing.
Very true. I mean, what I described was a simple racetrack, right? But I think that you're right with being able to drop down checkpoints at least, because we talked about 2 variants of the Cyclone. The third one is the Recon variant. What's that one? It's not RC, is it? It's
that one. It had in the at least in the description had a stealth modifier, so I suppose it comes stock with stealth class equipment.
Possibly, yeah. But the main thing that I liked about that was the ability to drop beacons that you can then so what is a beacon? It's something you can drop and you can name, as you can go back to it, so you don't lose places, because space be crazy, and also the moons are huge. So if you can drop beacons, why can't you drop checkpoints? So so
what is a checkpoint other than a beacon that triggers when you get close to it?
Yeah, exactly. So the Recon variant. So what is its designation? It's not RC, because RC is
RN. I
RN.
think.
Okay.
Yes.
Right on.
Well, I shall open it and confirm. Scrolly. Yeah, it is RN. Yes, that is the one.
Right. Cool. Yeah, so hopefully it has some kind of stealth tech, because you don't want to be seen in the first place. But the ability to drop beacons is what made it one of my... Well, it's my favorite. Well, I actually have a close second, and that is the one after, which is the artillery variant.
The turret one, the DR.
No, not the turret one, the artillery one.
Oh, right. Oh, you mean the anti-aircraft one?
The anti-aircraft one, yeah.
The AA. Yes.
Because the anti-aircraft one will work the same way sandstorms do. They're a deterrent. If you have enough of those things, you can stop these space superiority ships from coming down and blasting, blasting people who are trying to explore and that kind of thing. It's safety. I wonder if
then again, you would think that if you do own an outpost or like a location thing, that you would be able to post turrets with such capability. You wouldn't have to have a buggy.
True. And I guess turrets kind of fall under subsumption in some kind of just AI in general, which we don't have. The ability to deploy turrets like that, or to because base building is something that they said that they want to do. I don't know if we'd get that just yet, in terms of having the turrets to do that for you. Something that they did mention, and I think it was either in an ATV or it was in the town hall, was that derelicts, like which you would be able to find in and around these planets. Derelicts aren't just hulls of ships. They're actually hulls of ships with all the loot and stuff, and in the ATV they showed a whole bunch of livable, they've turned it into livable facilities and stuff. Maybe some parts of that ship may still be alive. And they mentioned that turrets within those ships, if the core of the ship is active or something, you might be able to use those. So So you can turn a crashed javelins turret into a fixed deterrent, against things like that.
Yeah, but I was actually more talking about the stuff you could do. Like if you're playing Command and Conquer, for instance, you can plop down a defense. There's basically just a small standalone, self-sufficient turret.
Yeah. So
so you wouldn't have to use a buggy.
Yeah, but I'm not. Again, I don't think our AI is kind of there. It'll either be overpowered or crap.
Why AI?
Well, you drop it on the floor. AI has to control it to.
Why? Well, player controlled.
Oh, you want it player controlled?
Just I don't know when we're getting there, but there'll be 3 different methods of controlling turrets. One is player control, one is NPC control, and the other is basically just computer control, where an AI slave to your ship takes control of the turret.
Right.
So. Yeah, I think if you just take the turret from a cutlass and put it on a pedestal that provides it power,
right,
and extra ammunition, for instance, then it would still be either player, NPC, or AI control.
I think that but they mentioned that in 3.0 you'll be able to find wrecks, and if their turrets are, you can still use them. I think that's really cool.
Yes. I agree, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. I hear you.
Yes, my microphone is activated. I hope so. But yeah. What else?
I think
we missed the turret one. The gunner one. It's basically just a Humvee.
Yeah, is it TR? I think it's called. I don't know how. I don't know how useful that's going to be. I mean, apart from the fact that you can have 3 people on that car now instead of 2, it's got a size 1.
I just realized it's the Warthog.
Pretty much. The Warthog from Halo, right?
Yeah,
but pretty much.
Yeah. Two people in the front, 1 in the back, on a size 1 gun. The thing is, we know what sort of damage a size 1 gun on a ship does if you aim it at a person.
Yeah, it kills
it's
them.
Not. Not just not kill them. It completely obliterates them. So it maybe not very useful against ships, but other Tumbrils, other Cyclones, and people on foot or on Noxes or Dragonflies.
Yeah.
Sure. That's gonna still be quite powerful.
I almost feel like size 1 guns don't really necessarily have a place in space anymore, because if you have a gladius, you're not killing a saber. Its shields are too strong. By the time you use up all your Gatling gun ammunition and taking down its shields for half a second, its shields are back up like 5 seconds later, and that's it.
I think that's just to do with balancing, but considering the Gladius is a ship primarily used to fight Vandals, Scythes, and Glaives, I think we should just figure out what how well they do that.
Right. So, with the artillery variant, though, I mean, how large do you think the missiles are going to be for that? Because
size 1s as well.
Size 1s as well, but I mean, size 1 missiles, I guess, again, balancing could come in and help with that. But a size 1 missile...
I can double check. Maybe it says.
Do you think it's going to... Okay, go on. But
it's the most expensive one, by the way. It's for me, it's €77.
It would have to be.
Yeah,
because you gotta have that financial balancing as well. Because it on the brochure, at least, it says it respectfully kind of what does it say? Like verbatim, it says respectfully challenges the notion of air superiority. I don't know. I mean, like, so to me, that means that if one's around, then a saber should at least be wary. But if it's a size 1 missile, right now does nothing to a saber. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how useful it would be if it doesn't at least pack maybe size 2s or size 3 missiles on it. Also, how many missiles do you think it would have?
Looking at the images, it's 2.
Just 2. No, not in the back. It doesn't like reload or anything. Just 2.
There could be more hidden inside, but from the size of them, kind of doesn't seem like it. No, I'm looking through the brochure, and yes, and it seems like it's just the launcher with the preloaded missiles, and once those are out, they're out.
And that's another thing. Missile economy. Right now, missiles they're hit and miss. They don't really do much. I guess that's also kind of because of latency issues and the like. But the way things seem to be geared up, for instance, this new Tumbril artillery ship only has 2 missiles. The Aegis Eclipse only has 2-3 missiles, and then that's it. You've gone a long way to go ahead and dump those missiles, and then that's it. So how expensive are missiles going to be in this game? How dangerous are they going to be because they're so expensive and that kind of thing? Because I don't think that yet has been...
That's a good question.
Yeah, because I don't think that's been balanced accordingly just yet.
No. I think that, the missiles at least are still just too just not thought out completely yet. Either their price, if they do the damage as they do now, then they have to be much cheaper than they are. But if they retain the price, they're gonna have to pack a much bigger punch.
Right. Exactly, because once you fire your missiles, it's not like you have to wait to get more missiles. You have to actually go back, dock somewhere, buy missiles, and then put them on. So, I think that maybe when later on we're going to see very, very, very expensive missiles. Hopefully, I guess your missile's supposed to be your trump card. I mean, like, that's why we have things like the Gladiator and stuff that are literally just missile boats, because that's all they can do. Once those are out, that's it, and they're not very maneuverable. And right now they get pooped on because everyone else has missiles, but then like all you have to do is respawn or find more missiles, and then you can basically just trump a Gladiator. And because of the lag, the Gladiator's missiles in the first place don't do much. But I just I'm thinking about the kiosk system now and the economy and all that kind of stuff. I was wondering just how much missiles will actually play a part in, I guess, late game and fighting and stuff. Will you see missiles very often, or because they're so expensive? I don't know. I mean, as a player, I just want missiles to be very expensive. I'm just gonna come out there and say it. I just want missiles to be expensive.
Yeah, same. So people just don't keep spamming them. So they have to actually work hard to be able to refill or reload their ship once they're gone. Yeah. Also, I just checked it up, and on the website it says that it has a pylon mount with 2 size 1 rockets.
Only size 1 there it is again. I just maybe in 3.0 they'll be balancing these things, because respectfully challenges the notion of air superiority. 2 size 1 rockets are not going to respectfully challenge the notion.
No, like 1 size rocket, if that is the place for it, that it challenges air superiority. So one direct hit with one of those missiles needs to take the shields down.
At least. And in that image, that there are 2 sabers there, and it's blasted both its missiles at that saber. The saber is pulling up. It makes that thing look badass, and I'm sure that's why a lot of people have bought it. Now, if it doesn't, serve the same purpose in game, I think you're gonna see a lot of salty Tumbril lights. Yeah, that's the word I made up. But I don't know. It just seems.
But I agree with you. Yeah. But yeah, missiles are iffy at the moment, especially if you take the Rattlers into consideration, because those things are so damn OP. But anyway,
whoever came up with the Rattlers, I mean, like, I'm sure they had good intentions, but I guess again with balancing, it just needs to be balanced, and that's it.
I think the Rattlers would need to be obscenely expensive.
Yes, obscenely expensive. I mean, you know how like when you get damaged, you lose an arm or a leg. I think that has to be the primary, like cost of a Rattler. Like you have to give away your arm or a leg.
Yeah. Would you like to walk, or would you want to shoot this amazing missile at people?
Yeah, they need to be much rarer than they are. I mean, they need to cost as much as Auroras because they take out Auroras.
That's actually interesting, yeah, because like ship chassis are not going to be that expensive. Like all the upgrades are basically what are going to make a ship worth a lot and be good.
Yeah.
So, like, you think there is actually merit in pricing these expensive things like more than the actual ship?
I would think so. I mean, like, just in real life, for instance, how much does a javelin missile cost? I mean, I'll Google this. You're gonna hear some clackety clack in a second. How much does a javelin missile cost? I say like a smart like shoulder mounted missile. 78,000. Wait. So the javelin command launch unit costs $126,000, and each missile costs $78,000. So
right.
Yeah. So the missiles need to cost a lot, in my opinion, anyway, because
but then again, like that is a missile to take down helicopters and stuff like that, or what is it used for?
Anything. Like if there's a truck there you don't like, $78,000 dead truck. Helicopter,
right. Okay. Yeah, but a military truck would cost about like 100,000, maybe 200.
But the targets that they're using, it's all about asymmetrical warfare now. The truck's gonna cost $500. But anyway.
Yeah, like especially if they're using in third world countries, everything is a Toyota Hilux there.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, look up the Stinger missile. Sorry, I'm just looking at you out there for a second. How much does Stinger missiles cost? Stinger missile cost. They're only $38,000. A javelin missile is $78,000. So yeah. That's my grounds for missiles.
War has gotten a lot more cost effective lately.
But yeah, that's my grounds for missiles to be super expensive. Yeah.
Right. So you wouldn't exactly be. So exactly, it has to be expensive. So you only use it as the last ditch effort.
Yeah.
Up until you try to use your normal guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then when you realize it's not going to work.
Yeah, in the verse, I suppose there's going to be a lot of deterrents for it to use missiles, because you're going to be out in the open. You may not be able to get to somewhere that can get you more missiles very soon. You have a limited amount, and you'd have to go back. So it really has to be your ace in the card. I don't. But yeah, basically, they need to be they need to be expensive. But I guess that also segues into, more about 3.0, basically, the price of other things as well. So one thing that they want to kind of like nail home to people is that you shouldn't just be able to take your ship out to wherever, get it damaged, and then like either abandon it or like Alt F4 or whatever, and come back and get a brand new ship. That ship is now going to be linked to your character like intrinsically. Like if you take your ship to Grimhex and park it in Grimhex, you can't then take a jump into your friend's Aurora, go back to Olisar, and then get your ship back. There is no automated valet system, and you have to go back to Grimhex to get your ship. If that ship gets damaged,
I like that.
If that ship gets damaged, you then have to get it repaired. If you don't, then you have to suffer through the whole insurance system. Now, my hope here is that Will Maiden actually has made it so that in its first iteration, the insurance system is going to be harder than it should be, and then they try and tone it down. Because I want to see, I want to see people losing their ships, and then because they've been careless
and losing their shit because they're losing their ships. Yes, yes,
exactly.
I want to see the salt. So much salt. But because that will be a very good tool to drive it into people's heads that actions have consequences.
Now, of course, you'll still get people who ram into other people's ships so that they both have to wait some time. But hopefully, they'll think of something, I guess.
I think that when that starts happening, people actually paying a lot of attention to who actually it was that did that. And then maybe, even though the system probably won't support it, but they will be able to get a bounty on their head.
I think that rampeding into somebody's ship in Port Olisar where it's monitored, I mean, it's pretty obvious anyway. I mean, like right now, if you ram into somebody's ship in Port Olisar, you get the criminal status. I think that the criminal status also, now that everything is more persistent, it has to be more punishing. In that respect, like ramming somebody's ship, now that ships are a persistent thing that is a big deal to lose, you need to now be, I guess, punished more for it. I mean, right now, the punishment for being a bad guy is spawning in the badass Grim Hex place, right? I think they've said that that's not going to be the case anymore, that your spawn point isn't going to be linked to your affiliation with anything. I wonder how that's going to work. I mean...
it kind of would, I would say, like if you're an outlaw and you die and you have to wake up in a med bay, you would wake up at Grim Hex instead of Olisar, or at least an outlaw base instead of a UEE affiliated one.
I mean, you can be an outlaw without necessarily being necessarily being a criminal. I mean, like, I don't know, because there needs to be a jail system, like So
the word outlaw literally means outside the law.
I mean, you can be a clean. I mean, like, you can be an apparently clean outlaw. You know what I mean? Like somebody who doesn't do goody two shoes missions, but at the same time, the missions that they do undertake don't get them necessarily in trouble.
That's not an outlaw, I would say. Basically, an outlaw would be anyone who goes against the establishment.
But anyway, the reason why I'm trying to drum that up is because right now, as Port Olisar stands, and I'm guessing maybe so let me get this point out before I try and cross the streams again. But basically, in Port Olisar, you have the Easy Hab decks. And those are rooms that are linked to your player in some way, and no one else can respawn into that deck when you're there online. That's your bedroom. That's where you have rented. Now, I hope that maybe when NPCs are in, you can actually go to the reception and say, "I'd like to buy a room, please." And that's how it would work. Because then you have all these other truck stops in and around Crusader, where you can go, "I'd like to buy a room, please," or rent a room, please. And then that's going to be your spawn point. I think that might be... how I feel like that's how it should work, really. Because
like when you actually die, you spawn there instead of like we're not talking about respawning when you log back into the game after logging out.
No.
Okay.
No, yeah. But in terms of death anyway, well, I don't think Chris Roberts wants people to die full stop. I mean, like, death is meant to be a huge thing in this game, like, I guess for now, for the purposes of the alpha, yes, when you die, I feel like you should respawn in Port Olisar. But, with Death of a Spaceman, how he wanted it, like how many years ago is it now? Like maybe 3, in that article. It's like, if you get killed, I guess a dice rolls or something, but and you get basically respawn at a hospital. Maybe there just needs to be a hospital, And I guess since 3.0, wait, is 3.0 going to make ArcCorp a landable planet?
No, not yet.
So how do you get to ArcCorp?
Only Levski.
Okay.
I think ArcCorp is still going to be menu based.
Okay, because ArcCorp has a hospital.
It does.
So I'm just thinking that maybe if you die,
as well.
Okay, in that case, I feel like when you die, you should spawn at a hospital. not your home, because that doesn't make much sense. But a hospital makes a lot of sense, regardless of your affiliation to anything. It's a hospital. So I feel like that's how it should work out right now.
Right, and then if you want to get somewhere proper, you would need to hitch a ride because maybe you don't have any ships at the location you're spawning in.
Yeah. True.
We'll have to see. I mean, this is going to be a mechanic that's going to evolve over many versions of the game, while it's still in alpha.
Yeah, I mean,
like maybe 3.0 will have exactly the same thing as we have now, but 3.1 will bring in hospitals, like actual working hospitals.
Yeah,
And
receptionist.
my hair is annoying.
Receptionist
I need a
aside.
haircut.
Yeah, you do, you damn hippie.
Yeah.
Receptionist aside, I think that they've mentioned that in 3.0, on Planetside, there will be these like relief huts where you can like log off at, and I guess maybe bind yourself to, so if you die, you respawn there. At least in this iteration. So I think in the future, if you could do that with just like Olisar, a truck stop, Grimhex, that would be really cool. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Like people say stuff all the time, but it's never concrete until you see it.
Until it's out. Yeah,
Exactly.
we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Oh, we've been waiting so long. If there's any CIG devs looking at this or watching this, can you hurry up, please? Pretty, please.
No.
Nah.
Don't rush.
No.
Otherwise,
No,
you might
course
get toilet roll stuck in your cheeks. Just take your time. When you're finished, call me.
Yes. Anyway. We're supposed to be talking about planets and moons and things to do on the damn surface, and I think we did that for about 10 minutes.
We did.
Oh god. Oh yeah, derelicts are gonna be in
Derelicts,
3.0, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Things to find, like ships. What you mentioned before. I don't think you'll be able to actually take control of a derelict in 3.0 yet. I think there'll just be locations for missions, like
I mean, it was
to get
mentioned,
something from there.
Yeah, I mean, it was mentioned that maybe you might be able to use a turret of a derelict that's, maybe its power core is still active for whatever reason. In Space Engineers, I don't know if you saw me play that, but you could do that there as well. Like there were derelicts, and you could like grab the engines and stuff, the turrets, and use them to.
Yeah, I think
fend
that
off stuff.
what we're talking about is like a best case scenario for in the future. Also, you wouldn't even need to have a functioning power core. You could bring your own, like a portable generator that you just plug into it, and then all of a sudden, yay, working turret.
I think
Or working, power systems of a ship. Maybe not the engine, but power core.
I think the coolest use of a derelict that I have seen in game so far, even with this stuff here and with that ATV, the coolest use of a derelict ship has to be hands down in Echo 11 in the club, where they use the power core of an Avenger to like power all the lights and stuff.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
That is cool.
Was really cool.
And I still haven't found a way to get into the Avenger because it's a full Avenger. It does have a cargo.
It does.
Hole. Yeah. Or is it a full Avenger? Or is
I thought
it
was just like the front half that
front.
like breaks off. Yeah.
Because the front fell off.
Because the front fell off. Australians.
Or is it New Zealand?
Was it Australia or New Zealand that because the front fell off? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, because the front fell off. Yeah, that's a very good skit. And if people haven't seen it yet, pause the video now.
Just Google.
Make another YouTube tab and search for "the front fell off." And then come back in 5 minutes and thank us because
you won't be disappointed.
That shit's hilarious.
But yeah,
and I wonder just how many jokes are going to be like done every time you find a derelict ship, and then you have
the
constellation, and you have the cockpit of the constellation like 50 meters that way, and you just say, "Well, I see your problem. The front fell off."
Can I just say how really awesome the quality of the cinematics that we do get in trailers like this? I mean, I don't know if you can call that video a trailer, but like videos like that, and more in recent ATVs as well. Whoever they employed for that recently, or they started do more work on that recently. They've made a good decision on that. I can't wait to see.
But are you talking about just like the visual quality or the cinematography or
cinematography,
what?
visual quality? I mean, like for instance, when they were talking a couple ATVs ago about netcode, and it was just a guy talking. I mean, like maybe a month ago, if they released something like that, it would just be a guy talking. But they actually went through the effort of making like a 3D visual kind of representation, like using a car as an analogy.
Yeah.
That worked really well. That was really cool.
I agree. But what is it? I mean, if you had a superpower, well, you do have a superpower, but if you were named after your superpower, you would be Tangent Man.
Tangent Man.
Tangent Man.
Tangent Man. With the ability
no matter
to
how
go...
no matter how hard I try to root the topic of conversation back on topic, which was supposed to be Planetside and stuff to do on the surface of planets and moons and asteroids. You keep
Tangent Man with the ability to go anywhere.
Anywhere, yes. Talking about cinematography and...
I just wanted to, just bring it up and just talk about that for a second.
Yeah,
But,
well, I agree that it's fantastic. And I hope that, because you can tell that they are doing something with the engine that enables them to get these... it's at least depth of field that's enabled. Right. And used to quite a extensive level.
Yeah,
when they're doing that, I hope that we get that in the actual game, because the game we play doesn't look anything like it, even though it's the exact same engine.
They are pretty honest though when they go about doing that, and when they add extra effects. As they were a couple ATVs ago when they were talking about one of their trailers, and they showed the different layers being put on, and then there was a last one that said post effects, and I don't know if post effects means like to make that look pretty, and that's not in game or otherwise, but
I think that's just regular post effects that you can enable or disable in CryEngine,
right? In that
case, basically grading and motion blur and stuff like that.
Okay. Right on.
But, obviously they render it at a much higher resolution because there's no anti-aliasing, and everything does look super smooth in those cinematics. And, so you need to get that sort of anti-aliasing somehow. So, possibly rendered at 8K and then downscaled to 1080p or whatever.
Right. Anyway, it's time for Tangent Man to use his powers for good. So with these Cyclone vehicles that came out, and they'll allow us to drive around planets, I suppose that's going to allow us to explore more. So now that we have something smaller, a buggy that actually has the ability to use cargo and stuff like that, what do you expect to do on planets? I mean, like, so right now on planets, let me just paint a picture for you. Like we have the planets, the dust balls. Then we have the derelict ships. Then we have the actual settlements and stuff that have NPCs that you can go and do missions on. Then you have points of interest.
But yes,
Then you have points of interest. Then you have your recon vehicle that has beacons. So with all that put together, what would your emergent gameplay, day of exploration, how would you, paint me a story of what you would do on a planet? Let's say Yellow.
Yellow. Well, thing is, right now, I'm trying to kind of, apart from personal taste, I'm trying to justify why you would use, at least on Yellow, for instance, why you would use a wheeled or like a surface vehicle instead of a ship.
Instead of a ship? Adverse weather effects.
Instead of a ship.
Adverse weather.
Well, adverse weather effects. Yeah, okay, that's one of the reasons. But, unless the entire surface of the planet is engulfed in one huge storm, those are going to be more localized than, it's going to be more the exception than the rule. So you would really basically just go in a cyclone because you wanted to. I think
That is probably something to think about, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I mean, not every planet can be like Jupiter with one giant endless storm, you know? Like maybe there might be a planet with a giant endless storm that you can only go somewhere. But you know, that's a good point. I guess tunnels and
Tunnels,
yeah.
or heavily wooded areas where you can't land with a ship and you have to drive, between the trees. But anyway, that is completely not answering your question.
I suppose you would just wild geometry. Now I'm just trying to think. So let's say, let's put trees out of the way because we don't have trees. Apparently, as far as I can see, I think in one of the moons there's going to be foliage, but I don't know. I mean, like, let's say there's a mission
price. Because
I mean, price? Did you say price?
Price, yeah.
Cost of fuel, cost of hydrogen fuel to fly around Planetside.
Or, just actually, getting a ship to do the job would cost so much more than getting a small buggy to do it.
Right. I mean, again,
I can understand it from an NPC point of view, but from a player, for a player character, which would basically just require a few days of mission, just to get a ship. I'm just still trying to figure out like a proper legitimate reason.
So right now,
other than environmental, and
right now in Star Citizen, when you use hydrogen fuel, it recovers pretty fast using fuel scoops. I don't think that's the intended effect. I mean, the intended use of hydrogen fuel as later on in the game.
Isn't that just for boost and afterburner? Isn't normal flying completely free, so to speak?
Not since this most recent patch where when you pitch with an Aurora, you use fuel.
But what happens when you run out of fuel?
You still move around, but space. my point being that like right now in the game, well, in this patch, they've put a price to hydrogen fuel. In some ships, you get that fuel back really fast, but in other ships like the Aurora, you can still refuel it. Now, if hydrogen fuel is required for atmospheric flight because you need more thrust than when you're in space, that might stop people from hovering all around the place planetside. You might only have a certain amount of time to spend down there. And again, that's, I guess, where price and cost comes into things. You might want to just...
Right, and not just that, because when you run out, you may be, it may be just so hard to maneuver inside an atmosphere that you crash.
Exactly.
More than not. Yeah.
That might be what happened to the Javelin in that yeah.
Or maybe just every derelict that you find, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe there's a thought. You might need to have a certain amount of hydrogen.
Maybe these are actually spaceships instead of airplanes.
Exactly. So maybe you might even need a certain amount of hydrogen fuel to leave a planet afterwards. So that there, I feel, might. I mean that I'm happy with that answer. Whether or not it's going to be
your question, what I would do. Oh Jesus! Well, like I said, racing, but exploration. I want. You know what I want to do? I want to go to Lear 3. Remember that video from the Homestead demo? And I want to drive my Tumbril Cyclone all the way to the top of that mountain where the guy waving "Hello, Citizen Khan" was.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like climbing a mountain because it's there. That is the sort of thing I want to do. I want to, give myself a goal, to go somewhere where nobody has been before.
Okay.
Not just like 5 centimeters to the right of that tree, because maybe nobody's been there, but somewhere where it's very difficult to go to.
Now I know what I want to do. And I guess this would require in 3.0, at least one of the planets having a really tall, maybe not too steep mountain, but you know how people can go heliboarding or whatever, where they jump off the helicopter and then go snowboarding? I want to drive out of the bay of a Cutlass on a mountain and then try and survive the drive back down the mountain. Because,
that's a good one.
That'd be cool to do.
You know what's another good one as well? Because they say, like, in an Aurora or something, it isn't like a vehicle. It would take you about 20 minutes to go
Around the planet.
around the planet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you actually think it would take for a day-night cycle, though? If it's 20 minutes, just how much of a challenge would it be just to go in a straight line with a cyclone or with an Ursa and try to have the sunset always in your face?
You're going to race the sun?
Raise the sun around the moon, yeah.
I mean, it depends on how long the day-night cycles are. I mean, I imagine that they want them to be realistic as opposed to just...
Nothing's been confirmed. The distances between planetary bodies are confirmed to be 1/10 scale.
Right. But does that mean that the day cycles will also be a 10th scale? And the time will also be a 10th scale?
Well, if they go actually, if they are as pedantic as I want them to be, and have the time of year like have be like an orbital period, which is dictated by the gravitational attraction between the star and the planet and the distance between the two. Then it's a year, but a day has nothing to do with that.
Right.
I don't know. What is realistic? I mean, you have Earth, which has a day cycle of 24 hours, but then you have Venus, which has a day cycle of over a year.
I mean,
because it turns in the other direction.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say, what's right for a game. Then again, Star Citizen is more than, like, I suppose when it comes to the planets and stuff, it's more than just that. You have so many planets, so many sizes. You can go in all sorts of different variations in sizes with the size of the planets and stuff. And so, I guess gameplay doesn't really come into it really with the length of the days. I mean, like, I was comparing it in my head to Subnautica, where like a day cycle is like 5 minutes, and it's really, really annoying because I hate the nighttime in the game.
It is, and then you have to eat all the time.
Yeah. So
we need someone like Sherry on the show.
Sherry.
Yeah, to share with us all these things that they are, well, maybe not confirm, but maybe, just add slightly more insight into the back end, like this sort of theoretical back end, not the practical back end.
You are banned from asking Sherry onto the show.
God damn it, why?
Because I see it already. You're gonna title the stream Sharing with Sherry, and I'm gonna hate it.
Thank you for the idea.
Banned. But yeah, I honestly don't think we'd be allowed to have Sherry on because lore is such an intrinsic thing to the game in general.
Well, thing is, just like with having anybody on the show, there will still be under NDA or just not allowed to talk about. Although I wouldn't be surprised that if we submitted the questions for vetting, they would tell us, you are allowed to ask this but not this, and then we just go through the questions that we are allowed to ask.
Yeah.
I mean, it would still be cool to have her on. Maybe, like I said, I don't want to ask like actual confirmations for things that are planned, but
Right.
just to have a slightly more of an insight into the direction that they're going. Like, is it going to be fully realistic, or is it going to be just maybe to gauge more where they plan to draw the line between realism and fun gameplay.
So
a
bit of probing then, I guess.
Yeah, just
Light probing.
Just a bit of light probing.
Right. No, I think the title Sharing with Sherry is too good to pass up. But I think I hate myself for thinking of that pun in the first place.
You've been spending too much time with me. But I think it's about time to wrap things up, you think?
It has indeed. We've talked about a lot of things today. Some of those things were even about the title of the stream. So, yeah.
Yeah. But yes, anyway, so I think it's about time to wrap this up. So thank you people on YouTube and people on Twitch and maybe other forms of media consumption. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, for listening, for taking your time to spend time with us. I have been Darjanator. Over there has been my good friend Myre. We're both from Test Squadron for Best Squadron.
Oh,
I don't know where I'm going with this.
Which is like, where is he going with this? Okay, all right. So people on Earth.
I don't even know.
People on Earth.
Yes, people.
Okay. So
thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Fortnightly Frontier, and we'll see you in the first.